Hello friends, welcome to Helping Testers. So in this section we'll be talking about running JMeter on distributed mode. Now what is distributed mode and why it is needed? Let us share first that. So how is the JMeter produce load? It creates a virtual users that is we known as threads. Now as we can generate the number of threads, the number of load increases on a website, right? That is we need a load for testing. Let's say I am testing, let's say Amazon. So I am testing Amazon with 100 users load. That is not pretty much a realistic situation. While 100 user load on some local website, it is pretty much very realistic. So depending upon the websites, the amount of load varies. For Amazon, every minute there should be around 5 to 10,000 users on the website which are using it, or maybe more. So we need to generate huge data when we are doing the load testing. Now, when we are generating a load, let's say when we apply a load to a thread group here, this load, can we provide 5,000 threads load here? No, we can't. What the JMeter does, it creates the virtual users. That is, it is generating your memory. It is consuming your system memory. So as you generate the load, when the load increases your system capacity, your system would crash. Your JMeter would crash, even your system would crash, and then you need to restart your Windows machine or whatever machine you're using it. So there it's a capacity, that how much load you can generate from a system. You must have heard when we were teaching the listeners that it is not recommended to use graphs and listeners, all those in the GUI mode and not use in GUI mode, because we want to save our system memory. We don't want a system is spending its memory on heavy listeners. We don't want a system spending memory on GUI mode, because we want our system to generate as much threads it should. So it has been observed that from a system you are able to generate about 400 virtual users. Okay, so when we tend to increase the load, it depends upon system and the type of APIs you are using and all those stuff, but it varies. But on an average, we can assume that from a system around 3 to 400 virtual users can be created. You have an application where you need to generate 1,000 or 2,000 of load, then how you can achieve this? We can achieve this using distributed load. Okay. What we mean by distributed load, that is we will be using two machines and would be generating a load from two machines. Let's say if I have a machine I can generate 400 users, then for different machine I will generate a 400 users, so it would be 800 users. If I want more users, I will use a third machine. So it's a type of parallel testing in Selenium and APM. Okay, that is known as Selenium Grid. It is not so complex. It is very easy to do distributed testing using JMeter. This machine is currently acting as my master machine, and all other machines which I will connect will act as a slave machine. So what it means, that on my master machine the script would be present, and all the three machines, in my case I have connected one machine other, and this machine, these two machines would be generating the load. Okay. There are few points which needs to be care of when we are using distributed testing. First of all, both of the machines should be on same network. Second, they must have same version of JMeter installed on both the machines. So that's the two main concepts and points you should remember when you are starting with distributed testing. So let's make a script, a dummy script, a simple script, and we will be request, and just we will add a listener here, and we will be using a load of 5. So let me save this. Let me save this in videos. And let's run this. Okay, the script went fine. There were 5 users. Okay. Now you will find one option here, run. When you go into this, you will find this remote start, and it is giving me the local machine, that is 127.0.0.1. that is the local address IP. By this IP we can refer our local machine. If I run through this option remote run, nothing would be executed because this option run is for master slave model and it is used for distributed testing. So currently I am running it local, but I am not made this machine as a master or slave, so that's why it is giving an error. Now, how I can make this machine as my master? First of all, you will find here JMeter server, Windows batch file. So you need to start this. Okay, so you need to start this here. By starting this, this machine will start behaving as a master now. Okay, now if I start my JMeter, okay, and let me import my JMX file. Okay, and let me run from here. That is it. This my machine will also act as a slave machine and it will generate a load. If I click on this, you can see the tests are running fine. And if you go to your server command prompt, it is saying started the test at this time and finish the test at this time, because now the load is generated through master slave model. So this is how you generated the load from your machine. Now I want to generate a load from different machine. Then how I can achieve it? So I have a different machine connected to it, the same connection, the same Wi-Fi connection, and I have installed the JMeter on that machine. So here also in that machine, what you need to do, you need to start this JMeter server. Okay, so now the server is started on the another machine and it is acting like a slave. Now your local machine is master, so you have to tell the master the location of your different slave machine. So for that you need to go to JMeter properties. If you scroll down, you will find this option remote host. So after comma you have to get the IP of the slave machine. So for getting the IP, what you can do, you can get command prompt and you can write ipconfig. It's ipconfig. Okay, and the IP is 192.168. Let me enter this 192.168 and .1.7. .1.7. You also need to enter the port. So this is the port on which it was started, 55760. That is 55760. Okay, so we have told the JMeter properties that the remote machines are my local machine from which the load is generated, and this IP on this port the JMeter is listening, so this will also generate a load. Let me save this, and once it is done, on my local machine the server is up and on my remote machine the server is up. Okay, so that is fine. Let me now start the JMeter again. You need to restart it because you have changed in JMeter properties file. Okay, not on remote machine, sorry. I have to start JMeter on my local machine because my remote machine is just acting as a slave. You don't need to start the JMeter there. You only need to start the server there. That's all. You don't need to open the JMeter GUI. So I will start JMeter on my local machine. I will import my JMX file. And what I will do, this time I will run on this remote machine. You see, now the option has started coming for the remote machine as well. When I click on this, it is giving me no such object in a table. There is some error on a remote machine. Let's see. So this JMeter server, JMeter server text document is a file where the logs are generated. So let's see. So here it is giving that this engine is start, the port is 1099, not this one. So it happens sometimes. So we have to use this port 1099. So let me open my here and enter 1099. Let me correct the port, save in JMeter properties and restart the JMeter on my master machine. So I will import my JMX file. Let me run this on my remote and run this. Okay, so it is executed. You can see all the scripts are executed, and if I go to on my remote server machine, you can see that load was generated. It was started the test on host this and it finished the test. So what we have done through this start, we have executed on a local machine as well as we executed our test on a remote machine. Now there were 5 threads. Now I want to generate a load of 10 users. So how I can do? If I run this 5 user load on both of the machines, then on both the machines 5 load would be generated. So total of 10 virtual users would be created. Let's see. Let me run this remote start all. So on my local machine as well as on my remote machine, and run this on start all. Engine is busy, it is again saying. So let me start my server again. Okay, so let me remote start on all the machines. Okay, so this on, you can see on my local machine it has started, and if I go to my server machine, yes, it has started. And if I see the result, so you can see here total 10 requests have been processed. It was the old result as well. So I've again print, so you can see total 10 requests are done. The 5 was on my local machine and 5 was on my remote machine, right? So this is how you can work or you can produce your load testing. On from single machine, I am just putting a load of 5 users, but in the report it is showing 10 users. That's all. So whenever you're using or generating a load of 400 users, make sure you are using distributed testing for accurate results and from avoiding your system for a crash. Now we have been always talking that in real scenario we don't use the GUI mode. So let's see how we can achieve the distributed testing through command prompt, that is running the JMeter without GUI mode. So I will close this my JMeter GUI. Okay. So the steps needs to do are the same. For that, in JMeter properties, you should specify the port number, your local host and the remote host with the port number, right? Once you have done this, open your command prompt, write JMeter. We need to tell that we need to start the JMeter in non-GUI mode. Test scenario script location. Make sure there are no spaces in between. I have changed that. And let's copy this location here, and the file name is http request and JMX. Okay, this is our server. Okay, so now if I run this here, you don't see anything is running on a server. Okay, because I have not mentioned anything related to a slave or master. It just executed as we click on run on GUI mode. Now if I want to run on my on my machine through server, that is JMeter server in master slave model, I will mention -r. -r means on my local server. When I click on R, you will see that yes, it is starting on server and the script has ended on the server. If I want to run on I want to give specifically the IP, then I can use, let me also keep saving these commands so that you can later on execute on your machine. Copy this. Okay. Now I want to execute on my local machine, that is 127.0.0. That is the local machine IP. It's a generic IP for your local machine. You can use this, or you can write your IP. When I click on this, you will again see the test is starting on your server. See, and it is finished. So you can specify like this also. Let me copy. Right. Now let me run this on my remote machine. This is my remote machine. Okay. And when I need to run on my remote machine, what I need to do? I need to change the IP. So the IP is 192.168.1.7 and the port number is 1099. So as I click on enter, you will see that the script is executing on this remote machine, and you will be seeing that on your server it is saying starting and finish the script. Okay, so let me run this. So I've run this. So you can see starting and finished. So it has executed the script on my remote machine. Okay. Now if I want to execute in both our machines, how I can achieve this? I can write 127.0. That is my local as well. That is on both of them. So as I execute, I click on this. It will be executing on my local machine as well as on the server, and an error occurred. Okay, this space should not come. Okay, you can see it just started here as well as on the remote machine, right? So this is how you can run the test cases in distributed mode through non-GUI mode. So it was really important to teach the distributed mode, because when you are doing real testing, you should always use non-GUI mode.